These are the products that your Airbnb property needs to perform in 2021, going into 2022. Let's jump in. Welcome back, Airbnb family. Let's cut to the chase. Every Airbnb is filled up with stuff. Your short-term rental has furniture, kitchen supplies, etc. And what Airbnb guests, short-term rental guests, care about has changed over the last, say, 6-7 years since I started Airbnb. So I'm gonna give you the products that I think are most time sensitive and relevant that you should be adding to your listing if you don't have them. Some of this stuff is tried and true stuff too, so we will touch back on some OG products, but there's some new ones that might bend your brain that Airbnb guests, they just care about and they need to have them. So speaking of needing to have, somebody unsubscribed to a previous video because I did not have a cup of coffee in that video. My bad, super bad, come back please. Resubscribe if that was you. I've got my coffee this time, thanks. So product number one. The first product that you need about as dearly as I need a like on this video is a stand-up mirror, full-length stand-up mirror. Now, this serves a couple purposes. First off, women use this all the time. I cannot tell you how many situations, can just imagine this. Girl is sitting Indian style on the floor with her makeup, full-length mirror, sitting there doing her makeup because the lighting in the living room is better than the lighting in the bathroom, right? This happens all the time, especially with older apartments where your lighting just isn't good, but you've got big window light. That stand-up mirror can get moved to where the lighting is good. The girl's gonna sit down and do her makeup for the night at that mirror, all right? So having this mobile full-length mirror helps that person prep for their day. And also, people use full-length mirrors to make sure that their outfit is good. Now, a bathroom mirror is not sufficient because it crops you at the hip level, right? So when somebody wants a full outfit or they wanna take a full-length selfie, that full-length mirror matters for them. And it looks really good in photos. Having a full-length mirror in your shots can make your photos more interesting. And we've done this in Philadelphia and they have been gangbusters. Get some full-length mirrors, they're not expensive. Number two is gonna grow on you. Believe me or not, plants. Now you can use real plants if you've got really good housekeepers and you have your housekeepers come in at intervals, even if somebody's staying for a month. If you can make it set up where you have Airbnb housekeepers coming in and watering your plants for you, then real plants are absolutely great because you get some looks that you can't get with fake plants, right? Especially if you do this jungle boho look, which I'm a huge fan of. Big real plants can rock. But if you can't get your hands on some good real plants, or you just don't trust your staff to keep them alive, because this can be tough, then fake plants. And fake plants will suffice because, of course, a lot of what we're trying to do is get guests to book, and that pop of green in photos gets guests to book. And even if the plants are fake, when somebody is in your living room, if everything is just kind of drab and gray, then it's just not as welcoming. But that pop of green, even if you do a black and white theme or a mostly black theme, that pop of gray just really stands out and really makes the space alive. And it does lead to people enjoying your space because it feels more like home. Because when people live places, they have things like this. Hotel rooms don't have plants, do they? So this is a way to kind of cut out your hotel competition and do something that they just never do. OG conversation, but I think it always needs to be said because did you know that 1 out of every 3 travelers, they don't drink coffee. They do decaf or tea, which decaf isn't coffee in my opinion because it doesn't get amped up for YouTube videos. But when you set up your coffee station should include decaf and tea. These are products that you need. I like setting up this really cute coffee station that looks good in photos, and I'm leaning more towards using pour-over stations with an electric kettle. This is another product that you need, an electric kettle, coffee station or not. And I believe pour-overs are great because they're easier to clean. See, if you think about it, your housekeepers can sometimes miss dumping out the coffee tray thing where you put the filter in. It happens sometimes, right? It just happens. This is something that can become an error because you have to flip the thing up, and if they don't think about it, they'll miss it. And Keurig machines, people don't clean those. Nobody ever cleans them. They don't clean them appropriately. You're supposed to soak the components. And did you know that coffee grows some really weird types of mold that are hard to get rid of? And that's nasty. I worked as a barista at a Caribou Coffee, competitor to Starbucks in the Midwest, and we had to clean those coffee stations, and when they got missed for a couple days, those things got raunchy. So if you use a pour-over station where it's the glass container with the metal lid on the top that you put the coffee in, that stuff, it's disassembled the entire time. You can't miss it. It always gets cleaned, which means that you have by far a less likely opportunity for a guest to discover that you missed something, and the guest will always stay happy because you're preventing an error here by going old school, or back to the basics of making coffee with the pour-over machine. I'm saying this one because you can buy it technically a product, even though it starts as a liquid. We're talking color. You need some paint in your place, my friends. Now the thing is there's so many Airbnbs out there that people go and they do decent, good interior design, but a lot of them are apartments, and no one's ever brave enough to ask permission to change the wall color. You should do that. If you have houses, you can change the wall color. If you own your place, you can change the wall color. If you're brave, or you get a bunch of apartments, you can change the wall color. I doubt the landlord's gonna really say no to that if you're giving them a big rent check. And the cool thing about like fun, bright, audacious wall colors is they just create a different space than everybody else has on the Airbnb platform or on VRBO or Booking.com, which means you get booked more and people just like what you did with the place. Put some color in your space. And if you can't paint a wall color, then hang some stuff, big stuff that's colorful. You could do tapestries, you can do big pieces of artwork. I mean, the painting on my wall I did myself, it's like 10.5 feet wide. You can do these things, and some of them are simple to do. So get some color in your space, have some fun, and make the place a home. Make it like a fun home that people want to stay in, take some photos in, work in, you know, yada yada. Another OG one, a king bed and multiple types of pillows. If you have a king bed in your listing and you list in your title / description that you have a king bed, you get more bookings because Airbnb does not have a search box for king bed. You can't select what size bed you require yet. I can't believe Airbnb doesn't have that as a search filter yet. The moment that it's alive, you guys should put it in the comments, by the way. Just be like, yay, king thing's activated, but it's not yet. Now, by doing this and then having multiple types of pillows and not slouching on the price point for your bed, you're gonna make sure that people have the best possible sleep. And the most important part of an Airbnb listing is the quality of sleep. People are going to spend the night, right? If they weren't spending the night, why would they book your place, right? So just think about that. I like having these bamboo gel pillow things, and I like having down feather or down feather alternative pillows. So I've got two different types of firmness for my pillows, which means that different body types, different sleep styles, back sleepers and side sleepers, both can be happy with their choice of pillow. And that is an important distinction to do. You're gonna get a TV, but honestly, bigger is better. There's a couple things you need to know about TVs. People who have 30-inch TVs, they just don't look impressive, and people choose to not book those as opposed to TVs that are like 50-inch plus. Because the people who watch movies, they actually care about this stuff. And so if you're going to have a big TV as a draw, you also have to kind of meet them with some stuff that's worth watching. We use Amazon Prime, Netflix, HBO Max and Disney Plus are our four, and a lot of you guys are missing Disney Plus and HBO Max, and I tell you they're probably two of the most important ones when there's special events or special movies. Like Disney Plus will do pre-releases of movies that you can buy, like Mulan, for $30. And you can advertise that you have it in your listing, and families will come and book just to get that special movie. HBO Max just the same. Zack Snyder's Justice League, when that came out, HBO Max, people wanted to come and watch that. Things like Game of Thrones, like big ticket items can pop up, and you just have access to that, and people will book your place because it's an option. So if you provide a big TV, provide stuff worth watching on your smart TV. I used to say you should have a Fire TV, but there are a lot of really good alternative smart TVs out there that I no longer think that you need that. For you big operators that are focused on branding, you know, let's say you've got a bunch of properties or you want to have a bunch of properties one day, this product is exactly for you. And it's one you already have, but you're just misusing it. Your Wi-Fi. See, your Wi-Fi has a name and a password. If you have multiple Wi-Fis and you want to increase the chances that people will come back and they'll feel welcome, you should make your Wi-Fi name and password the same at all of your properties. When somebody shows up and it's like, let's say your business name is like Epic Suites, right? You have the name Epic Suites and Welcome Home with a 3 at the end or something is your password. Anytime that somebody's already logged in to your Wi-Fi, they go to your new place, they're automatically logged in. And this has got a great operational advantage too, because let's say you've got like an HQ that sets up all the TVs. So you have somebody get a TV in, set up everything, and then, you know, save the password with Epic Suites and Welcome Home. And let's say somebody damages a TV. Well, now you have one in storage that's already pre-set up with all the channels and stuff, and they just put and mount that TV on the wall and it auto connects. It makes it so that your maintenance can turn around TV replacements faster too. So this unified Wi-Fi system creates congruency with your guests, make them feel like they're part of what you're doing, and it makes it easier to replace smart products. And have all of your smart products already signed in, and you can replace a security device or a TV. That leads me to the security device that you absolutely need. Now there's a bunch of them. There's like Party Squasher, there's Noise Aware, and there's Minute, but I will tell you, for the buck, and as far as like usability and all the good marks that you ever want for a security device, Minute system is really great. It's like the best one because they've added something called Crowd Detect. That's minut.com. You can get 20% off with the code Sean20, SEAN20. But if you're buying multiple devices, I think they've got a bundle that's actually cheaper than my discount code. So you may not need my discount code, but if you're only buying one, you can save 20% with the Sean20. Now, all of these require monthly memberships. Minute used to not require it, and I really wish that they'd have like it's free for like one device, but when you're at scale like us, you have to pay for a membership for it, and I guess cost of doing business. But the amount of money that you save from people not trashing your places and preventing parties, and especially with us when we rent from buildings, we want to make sure that we don't put them through hell. And so preventing parties is really big for our reputation. So minute systems are great for that. Something you need to be aware of, a product that you should not have. If you are a studio apartment, you cannot have a camera. You absolutely cannot, because you cannot put a camera in the bathroom or the bedroom. And that's the only thing that a studio has. Because even though there's a kitchen, living room area, it's all the bedroom, right? It's the same four walls that the bed is in. Any place that you advertise that someone can sleep, you cannot put a camera in the space. You just absolutely cannot. So 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom houses can have internal cameras sometimes. And if you're in an apartment complexes don't let you put cameras in the hallway because now you're monitoring your neighbors. So you need an alternative to cameras, which is the minute system. This will give you the security you need without technically monitoring anybody, and you'll love that. All right, guys, you male hosts out there are definitely screwing this one up. You female hosts have been crushing this, but women's toiletry products, with like feminine care products, you need to have a little go bag that has all the stuff when Aunt Flo comes to visit, because sometimes people don't pack that stuff because they've mistimed it, and women's cycles can change out of nowhere at random. And by having this stuff, you will save someone's like whole day, and they will love you and give you a 5-star review. And by having this product, you might actually save your mattress from having a bad situation, which when I was absolutely brand new, I didn't think about this, and we had to throw out a mattress because it got stained from like stuff. Which leads me to the next product that you absolutely need alongside this feminine care product is you need a bed bug proof, waterproof mattress cover. Now they make these ones that are like bamboo. There's bamboo products everywhere all over Amazon, but they actually don't have that wrinkly, weird sound, right? And they don't have that uncomfortable sound. So what I would do, just to make sure that it's absolutely like stellar, is you use one of these waterproof ones that are like bamboo based that doesn't have that weird sound, and then you put a pad over the top. Just one of the regular quilted pad ones. So people don't get the direct contact with it through the sheet, but they also don't get the sound. And now you've got a wonderful bed that if anything ever did happen, like a family had some kids and a 3-year-old accidentally did something in the middle of the night, you're going to be okay. You can just throw out the pad and then you can just clean off the waterproof cover. Maybe even throw out the waterproof cover if you want to be super cool and just replace it. It's by far cheaper than replacing a whole mattress. And remember, if we're buying good king size beds, you don't want to have to throw away an $800 mattress every time that somebody has an accident, right? Because cleaning mattresses is really tough. I can tell you that it's really tough. I used to do mold and water and fire restoration as a teenager, and that thick padding, like you just can't get it all the way out. It's impossible. So do your guests the favor, waterproof cover. If you are in international cities, like Philadelphia, we have a lot of international travelers, Houston just the same, or if you have bigger properties like 3-bedroom plus, you should add things like rice cookers. You should have a tea kettle or an electric kettle always, but then if you have international travelers or your listing is just big enough, you need to start adding international cookware. And rice cookers are super popular in a large portion of the world, and they will get used and they will be appreciated. So start thinking about those extra things, and you should be upping your kitchen game when your listing is bigger anyway. So you can get on a website and buy like an 8-piece or 12-piece cookware set that is ceramic. Okay, if we're going to talk about what you should buy, do not buy Teflon, go with ceramic if you're going to go with nonstick, because Teflon is a carcinogen and it wears off. And if you buy cooking utensils, don't buy the cheap plastic ones, buy the silicone ones because they don't chip and melt away nearly as much. So go with like metal, wood, or silicone for your cooking utensils. Do not buy that cheap plastic stuff that you get from Walmart. You will regret it. The stuff will look nasty right away. But as you buy kitchenware, as your listings get bigger, you need to be upping the kinds of stuff that you provide. You can just do like a baking sheet, a couple pans and a pot and stuff when you have a studio apartment. But when you get up to 8-10 people, you need to start like looking at like glassware, like bakeware for casseroles and stuff like that, big mixing bowls and different like, and when you get up to 12, 14, 16 people where you have these big houses, you should even have servingware, like platters and stuff that people can use to serve food. Up your kitchen game the bigger you go, because the kitchen, again, is one of the biggest differentiators between hotels. Remember, right? Hotels don't have kitchens. Now you do, and you want to make sure that your kitchen is head and shoulders above your competition, and people will love you for it so much, and you will be famous in the hosting community. If you want to get brave, you can use smart devices. People love smart sound systems where they can ask like an Alexia device to say something, play something, do something, and those are great. Now the thing is you have to be careful because that's going to get attached to, like, say, an Amazon account. And you need to turn off one-click purchases so somebody can't go and buy stuff through the smart device. Especially with like smart TVs too, you have like the pin setup so people can't buy pay-per-view. Well, with voice, they could buy the pay-per-view without having a pin because they've got one-click settings, and voice allows for one-click settings. So when you set up your devices, just make sure that you put the proper security features in place, and then now you can have like a sound system, like a Sonos system. I love these Sonos speakers in my house, by the way, and connect them to your smart devices. So they can say, hey, play Bad Bunny, and boom, Bad Bunny's playing on all the speakers in the house and they're doing their thing. Now, I know this is a product that if people were to throw a party, they'd be using your sound system to throw a party. So vet your guests, use the minute system to make sure people aren't going too loud, but you still want to give people the opportunity to enjoy their stay with good features and good amenities, and you have to trust your people to behave. You kind of have to. You cannot not give people stuff because you're afraid that some people are going to break the rules. Yeah, right? You're not gonna not put a bed in there because you're afraid that somebody's going to like squat and stay and not pay you like after their checkout. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of logic by not giving people the basics that they love. Something else that seems rather obvious but people still skip is thinking about entry for the home, right? Keyless entry is great. You should always have a hard copy key backup for in case like a keyless entry fails, but you always should have a keyless entry option where you can change up the codes. It makes it easier for maintenance, housekeeping to get in and out, and you don't trust the guest with a key that can get lost and then you need to constantly replace them, right? It's more secure this way, right? They can't go copy your key and come back and steal all your stuff, right? When I was brand new to this, before I knew anything about Airbnb, we'd leave the key on the kitchen counter and the door unlocked, but we were like 100% occupied, so we'd only have a few hours at a time where the key was on the counter, where there was a compromise, right? But now as the industry's gotten older and people have become more like elegant in how they steal stuff, that is something I would never do ever again. But when I was new, I got away with it. But we've slowly evolved, and I use this UTech keyless system. It has a great little app. It's great. You can change the codes out and stuff through the app, and you can access through the phone if you have any problems. The batteries, I guess it's more about the battery than the lock, but I don't think the lock is too energy efficient, so the batteries have been dying a little faster than I'd like, but they're easy to replace the batteries in the back. They don't require special batteries. I think they're AA. But yeah, so I like UTech, and you should always keep a hard copy key for the guest somewhere, like on a lockbox, and then you should have a copy of your key. Housekeeper should have a copy of your key. So you should still have 3 or 4 hard copies of the key lying around. Just your first line of defense is the guest doesn't get one. Washer and dryer on site, absolutely necessary to get your guests to be happy, except like inner cities like Philadelphia, they don't expect it as much because they understand that like apartments don't necessarily always have them, but guests will love them. And if you have a bigger property, you should absolutely have a washer and dryer. If you're afraid of that getting abused, then give them the washer dryer, just don't give them the detergent for free. We actually upsell detergent using a pod system. And I have a little mini course on 4 ways to upsell customers. And so we sell these pods and we make some good money. We also, when we do those movies, the Mulan for $30 that we buy, we sell these movie night boxes alongside of that. So we're getting our money back for all these extras because we're making these little sales. We also have a couple other really cool ways that we generate a lot of money on the side in that upsell mini course, but this is an example. If you want to hedge your costs by investing in like appliances like washer and dryer, there's a way to recoup a little bit of money by selling the detergent, and you can do that too. And since it is 2021, you should have hand sanitizer, little bottles, and disposable masks on hand and laid out for your guests when they arrive, because every city has different rules on whether or not you should or should not wear a mask, right? The mandates. And depending on where your travelers are from, this is one of the biggest things to understand about travelers, is travelers tend to be more nervous when they travel. They go to new places they're unfamiliar with, and there's reasons for them to be nervous, right, or apprehensive. So by providing hand sanitizer and masks, you're letting somebody like feel safe in your city, right? It doesn't matter if culturally they always wear masks or not, or if your city requires them or not. By you laying out some disposable masks for your guests, it just, like in case they didn't have one, they can have one and they will feel good. And this is like that touch of like, I see you as a guest. Like I see you and I want to care for you and I want to care for your concerns. It's just that little, for now, maybe for the next year or 2, who knows. This is a product that I think you should be leaving out for your guests. What's your favorite product for your Airbnb guests? What do you think gets you the best reviews out of anything that you've ever purchased? What do guests go, wow, thank you? If you have anything that you think is an absolute save, I would love you to put it in the comments so that way other people can see what's working for you. And as always, I'll be down there so we can have a chat in the comments. As per usual, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.